Just want to say thank you to our presenting sponsor for today, CJM Financial. They are helping us put on this webinar series for you guys. And with that, I will introduce Trent Murphy to say a few words on behalf of CJM.
Well, on behalf of CJM Financial, we're very excited to be able to sponsor the Chamber's Business Illumination Series. I don't think people understand the power that the ATA Chamber has. The ATA Chamber had done the groundwork for years and years to make sure that we're all connected and that we all have a way to work with each other during times that are good and also times that are bad. I've talked to my staff multiple times about anxiety and how people handle that. And I think that the thing that we realize, or we need to realize the most, is that everybody handles it in their own way. And even though you might see somebody that things like they have everything together, you don't realize the storm that might be under the surface. And so with that, I'm really excited about hearing what our speaker has today. So thank you to the ATA Chamber of Commerce for putting these on. Thank you to all the staff that we have at CJM Financial. We did a little run through today where all our stay-at-home staff did a little parade for our staff for coming in. So we've been pretty good about social distancing and trying to make sure that everybody is safe and sound and move forward during these kind of times. So thank you.
Thanks, Trent, and thanks for being the sponsor for today. And then next up, I'd like to introduce Kevin Feeney with Craig Tool. Craig Tool is our speaker sponsor for today and will help us introduce Leanna.
Good morning, everyone. On behalf of Craig Tool, we appreciate the Chamber's development of these webinar series. They've come together pretty quickly, and we hope that everybody sees a lot of value in this time where managing anxiety and finding positivity is at its highest. Leanna Brady with Red Couch Counseling will be our speaker today. Leanna is a client-centered therapist with over 27 years working with children, adolescents, and adults. She is knowledgeable about biological, emotional, relational, and spiritual aspects of mental health. So welcome, Leanna.
Thank you.
All right, Leanna, we will turn it over to you. You can go ahead and start.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Ankeny Chamber, CJ Financial. I hope you can hear me. I just kind of lost all of y'all. So if you could give me a signal that I am connected, that would be great.
You're good, Leanna.
Okay, wonderful. Just want to talk that it's, when we talk about anxiety, especially in these times, that it's absolutely natural for each of us to feel what I would describe. Some of us call it stress. Some of us call it anxiety, fear. And the other piece is loneliness during this time. So I think one of the important takeaways in terms of managing is, how do we be kind? How do we communicate being nice and mean it? Not in the sense of, for example, talking to your children and, your children will say something and you say, okay, now you need to be nice. But sometimes the tone doesn't quite come off the way we would like it to. So paying attention again to how we communicate in language and our tone. So what can we do in terms of being individuals, as a society at large, to do what I describe as preserving mental health and cope with stressors such as anxiety, but also loneliness. So I wanted to talk about some of the unique challenges right now as we are working from home. Working from home for some may seem initially like a dream. It offers the possibility to tap into what I would call latent creativity from the comfort of a cozy and familiar environment. However, it also brings what I would describe as a unique set of challenges, especially when it is enforced. So while being able to work from home can empower and up-level our working life, if taken to the extreme, we end up being switched on the whole time. So in many cases, the boundaries between home life and work life can become blurred. And these boundaries are what enable us to stay healthy and well. So in what I would describe as an enforced work from home situation that we're currently, most of us are experiencing, people may end up continuously sharing a space with other family members, and they may start to feel as though they have to attend to both domestic tasks and work assignments at the same time. And the blending of home and work life may also lead to working longer hours than usual. And people may fall into a pattern of overworking and a sense of feeling a lot of those should statements that come up for us, that we should be working, that we need to show that we're showing our colleagues that we are being productive because they don't see us in the office, which can also lead to some physical stress. So how can we manage some of that work stress while working from home? First, let's just accept the stress levels will likely be higher right now. So your feelings are valid based on the current context. That is why when working from home, prioritizing our mindset and well-being at the start of the day is essential. One helpful way to set boundaries so that a person doesn't become overwhelmed with competing tasks is to create a physical space that is for work only. This is where the person will not face any, what I would describe as non-work related disruptions or interruptions. So for instance, if you struggle to take breaks throughout the day, you could use the living together right now as an advantage. Perhaps ask for help, ask your spouse, ask your kids to encourage you to take time away from your desk at lunch. Or if the weather permits, use this time to get up, move around, go for a mid-morning or afternoon break. Allow yourself to walk or just have conversations throughout the day right now to help stay connected in the present, because in the past when we've worked in our work sites, we haven't had that opportunity. So stay connected and cooperation is key. So be kind, be patient with yourself and those around you. One of the ways I describe it when I'm talking with the clients is how do we practice giving ourselves grace? And how do we practice giving each other grace in return? And so in terms of the importance of maintaining other helpful habits, eating regularly, sticking to a healthy diet, because we all know that these are just what we describe as cornerstones of mental health. So again, eating regular nutritious meals, renew through exercise, make time to connect with others, then maintain good sleep hygiene, and be open with your plans with those that you live with and your team. Have very clear boundaries with what I would describe as your non-negotiables, and be open to flexibility where your schedule may need to adapt to support somebody else. That assists us with being able to switch from that home life to that work life. So how do we get back into home time mode? So another possible stumbling block when a person has to work from home for long periods of time is effectively getting out of that work mindset once the workday is done. This can be tricky, especially for those of us where we don't have access to our usual signals that work is over. Those usual signals could be things such as our commute from the office, a regular pit stop that we make. We may have in the past used appointments with having to pick a child up from daycare. We might have had appointments to get to the gym. Those of us who are now, all of those are shut down. So again, those usual kind of work stop times have been taken away. So we have to learn how to have those boundaries in place for ourselves. So we could try using an alarm to signal the end of our day, choosing the hour or even the minute that you press the off button, put down your pen, leave the home office, and plan what I would describe as a simple, short ritual that you look forward to in order to check in and to check out of your working day. So it could be something as simple as starting your day with drinking your cup of tea, drinking your cup of coffee, journaling. And that journal can consist of, what did I learn from today? Or what are my hopes for today? What do I want to accomplish today? And one of the important aspects that we actually derive from journaling and taking some time to slow down is it helps us stay connected to the day rather than creating stories in our head. And right now we are bombarded with either social media or news broadcasts. And Jessica and I were actually talking about this a little bit earlier, is we find ourselves, and I'm guilty of it as well, we get home, we perhaps, or if we are home and we've clicked off our work mode brain and we've flipped into our home brain, we turn on the news and we keep watching. And part of that keeping watching is that limbic system part of our body is activated because we keep listening and waiting and hoping to get information that things are getting better. And when we don't get that information, then that adrenaline and cortisol keeps going through our body. And I'll talk a little bit about that a little bit later in my presentation. So we want to create rituals. So journaling is a really effective way of allowing ourselves time just to even get out of our own head, stay connected in the moment. And then our checkout could be something as simple as a scheduled call with a colleague, checking in with those people that you don't see face to face every day. Or it could be a family member that you have a scheduled time as your checkout, or that you share your evening plans with that family member or that colleague. Planning enjoyable things to do in the evenings can be a nice reward for all of your hard work that all of you are doing. And something, again, for you to look forward to right now is so important, that we have a sense of hope for each other, and that we give that to ourselves by planning something to look forward to each and every day. And I highly advise that we just go easy on ourselves, because the strategies I just described, sometimes they don't work perfectly. All of us manage differently, and all of that is all right. Don't beat yourself up. If work starts bleeding into the evening, just stop. Take a breath. I want you to observe what's happening with kindness and do what I would describe as proceed with intention into the next part of your evening. What happens when our limbic system gets activated, and right now, realistically, everybody's limbic system is activated, we begin to get tunnel vision. Tunnel vision then takes us further and further away from our ability to be reflective and to stay connected in the moment. We then can create stories that may not be real. Again, takes us away from the present, takes us away from being able to connect with our family, takes us away from being able to connect with our children, and takes us away from being able to connect with the feelings that we have, so we can then pay attention to the information that our body is telling us. If we slow down enough, we can begin. Your body will give you information before it ever becomes a thought, and before that thought becomes a feeling, and before that feeling turns into behavior. So, and as I talked about a little bit earlier in terms of loneliness, research has shown that loneliness, isolation, is one of the world's most significant risk factors for premature death. And this is a huge problem, even at the best of times. So to cope with loneliness while in what I would describe as a relative physical isolation, there are some basic strategies, such as taking part in some sort of physical activity, keeping your routines, or creating new ones, engaging in activities that give you a sense of achievement, and importantly, really maintain social connections. Where possible, video calls are essential. They help to give that illusion of proximity and feel like the person or people you're talking to are nearby. It's important in sticking to old routines and creating those new ones can help give you the structure to our daily lives at a time right now when our normal activities are disrupted. And so for those of us who live on our own or are finding that enforced isolation has hit them really hard, enjoy doing things by yourself, yet you haven't had time to dedicate to them. So for example, what books do you like to read that you really haven't had time for? Giving yourself permission right now to engage in that activity. Other questions is, what self-care routine can you put in place to support your mind, but also your body? What nutritious foods can you cook to boost your immune system? And if you don't know what those are, give yourself permission to research that if you've never researched that before. People should be asking themselves these questions and try to take this unexpected time themselves to focus on aspects of their lives that they may not have paid very much attention to before. So we have increased levels of anxiety. Anxieties and fears should be acknowledged. We want to do what I would describe as lean in. We don't want to ignore. When I'm working with clients, I say we want to honor our feelings. Our feelings give us information. It helps us to better understand and be understood. And as we address those, it helps us then communicate with other individuals about what we need, how they can help. And if we could begin to have a dialogue, honest, kind dialogue with each other, so we can support each other during these challenging times. This issue is making all of us nervous, is how do we manage and react to stressful situations unfolding so rapidly in our lives and in our community? So personally, I'm trying to stick to what has worked for me in the past when I want to be calm. For example, learning and practicing simple relaxation techniques, breathing, exercising, muscle relaxation, mindfulness and meditation, which can be very helpful in relieving mental distress. Oftentimes I'm working a lot right now in what I would describe as basic grounding skills. So even as you sit there on this webinar with me, if we can take 3 deep belly breaths, we can reduce our blood pressure by 3 points. And the way we do that is, and if you want to try this at home, fantastic. Take a deep, big belly breath. And we do that by breathing in through our nose through the count of 4. And I'll just kind of demonstrate. And breathe out through your mouth, almost as if you're blowing up a balloon. And if we can do that, just moments throughout our day, helps that limbic system regulate. And you may say, that seems really simple. And you know what? It is. But it can help you regulate so you can stay connected in the present and not get into catastrophizing. These mindfulness and meditation techniques are skills. They can help relieve those anxious thoughts and keep you connected so you can be more productive and connect with the people around you. One of the key factors of experiencing anxiety is a sense of feeling out of control. And right now, as we are rapidly getting new information every day, that feeling of out of control activates that limbic system. And let's talk a little bit about what that limbic system does. That limbic system is our it's hardwired. It does serve a healthy purpose for all of us. It serves a healthy purpose, for example, if I'm being chased through the woods by a bear. I know I need to do what I need to do to keep myself safe. The challenge with the limbic system right now is we're being hit with information coming in so quickly is that adrenaline and that cortisol gets running through our body. That limbic system stays heightened for a lengthened period of time. Our amygdala, which is a part of our brain, which helps keep us safe, it gives us a warning signal. But when it's activated for too long, what begins to happen biologically is that prefrontal cortex part of our brain begins to shut down. Now let's talk about why this is important to know. The prefrontal cortex part of our brain assists us with what I would describe as the executive functioning part of our day, helps us correlate cause and effect, helps us remember to regulate, helps us be able to communicate effectively, helps us be reflective, helps us not get into that tunnel vision. So as we begin to notice, and that's where those pausing, putting in those pause moments, practicing mindfulness, taking those deep 3 breaths throughout your day can actually turn that prefrontal cortex back on, can slow down that amygdala, those warning signals right now, and pull us out of what I would describe as catastrophizing. Because right now, as we turn on the news, as we turn on our social media, we are bombarded with information that is about warning, stay safe, keep protected. Now, I don't disagree with any of that. However, what I don't want to lose is my connection. I don't want to lose my connection with myself. I'm not going to be very effective in the work that I do if I can't do that. And I don't want any of you to lose that connection, because then we begin to start losing connection with other people. And it makes the work that we do in terms of just being productive, even at work, a bit more challenging. So practicing mindfulness and meditation, again, is scientifically proven to reduce stress and anxiety when practiced regularly and help you feel more in control of your own emotional state. The other thing I want to talk about in terms of open communication and simple relaxation, online classes, positivity, resources right now, bringing fun and relaxation activities straight into your home. What has been so amazing to witness right now is what I describe as the booming wealth of online resources to support people. You can go virtually online to art galleries, watch videos of theater, you can watch dance, a video dinner date with friends. This one has, I've seen this one happening, online pub quizzes, live stream yoga, and workouts. And they even have what I just heard about this one. The Open University has released a multitude of free classes. I actually have a client right now who's learning Spanish online. They're taking this time, they're working from home, but taking this time in their breaks to learn some Spanish, which they haven't been able to do before. And so as we begin to describe and discuss problem solving and strategic planning about how can I begin to integrate some new activities, use this time to begin to explore what are those things I'd like to do but haven't. And what is really great is that we can then reconnect with those hobbies and relaxation techniques that don't require even a screen. We can read, take a bath, garden, listening to music, playing music, writing, arts, crafts, cooking, hanging out with your dog, daydreaming. There's so much to savor and enjoy. So myself, I try to acknowledge what I describe as upsetting thoughts when they occur, discuss them with people around me, whether it be my family, my colleagues, because you know what, they're likely to have them too. And we may be better able to find solutions collectively. Check in with each other, practice our sense of empathy, looking out for one another and checking in regularly to spot signs of stress or mental health issues evolving can have lasting impacts. And we want to honor each other, be kind, lean into the distress that we're currently experiencing so again, we can stay connected with ourselves and with each other, and be kind. We don't know what each other is facing. We have absolutely no idea what's going on in people's homes. So be cautious about flipping into judgment and embrace what I would describe as grace and empathy. Happy to answer any questions. Jessica, I can't hear you.
I was not unmuted.
Don't worry.
That was great information. Thanks, Leanna. I was just saying you listed some great activities and things for us to do, and stay busy at home with some fun things. So I was jotting down notes myself because there's a couple things I hadn't heard about. But if anybody has any questions, we'll give it a minute and let you type those into the Q&A. So we'll give it a second and let anybody who has any questions for Leanna type those in. I'm sure if you would like to reach out to Red Couch Counseling and Leanna, you can visit their website and follow up with some questions and maybe talk to her about some things as well. So Brady did ask if telecounseling is an option through Red Couch Counseling. And Leanna.
Yes, absolutely. We are doing telehealth. We have a secure HIPAA compliant portal that we utilize to do telehealth counseling. So yeah, absolutely. We're doing that. We're seeing a lot of requests for that. However, we're still doing in-person counseling as well. We allow our clients to make those decisions while practicing social distancing per the CDC. But yes, absolutely. Telehealth is an option.
Fantastic. We had another question come in. Somebody had asked, are there any videos or books that explain how our brain works, or any book suggestions that you make during this time?
Sure. Rewiring Our Anxious Brain is a good one. And it kind of describes some of the things I talked about in a little detail, just in terms of the limbic system, in terms of the biology of what happens when that limbic system gets activated. And right now, everybody's limbic system is activated. And also when we have any underlying mental health symptomology already present, and then that limbic system gets activated, it's really important. I encourage people, stay connected to their mental health provider, or get connected with a mental health provider. If you felt like your anxiety was managed before, but is feeling unmanageable, you don't have to go through this alone. There are resources out there.
Fantastic. Thanks for those suggestions. So it doesn't look like we've had any more questions come in, so we'll kind of wrap it up for today, but feel free to reach out to Red Couch Counseling if you have any further questions. Thanks everybody for joining us today. This is our 4th webinar. We've got 2 more coming up next week, and actually one of them is kind of kind of related to some of the things that Leanna was talking about. So our next one is on April 7th. We're going to have web spec design. They'll be speaking on marketing during uncertain times. So they're going to be providing a lot of great content on how to market your business. Then we also have on April 8th, our new Chamber Coffee on the Couch. We had our first one yesterday. We had about 30 people join us. It was great. We had some good exchanges of information and some fun laughs, and just got to connect face to face with some of our networking colleagues. So feel free to join us. Registration is required, but it is free. We'll be hosting those every Wednesday moving forward. And then April 9th is kind of related to Leanna's discussion. So we are going to be doing our first Stay Active at Home webinar. So we will have 4 fitness instructors from different businesses throughout Ankeny be doing short mini workouts. So we'll have 4 of those. And one of those is going to be a yoga mini session. So some breathing and stretching. So we are going to host that over the noon hour on the 9th. So hopefully everybody can join us and bring their family and get active at home and stay healthy. So with that, I would just like to thank Leanna for taking her time today to share some information with us. And then also thank CJM Financial and Craig Toole for being our sponsors. And Trent, would you like to say a few closing words?
Oh, just thank you very much for speaking with us and talking to us about the mental health side. I think a lot of times we spend a lot working out and doing other things, but we forget to look inside and see what we need to take care of there. 90% of things when I used to coach wrestling and teach, it was mental. The physical takes care of itself. And I think that the more we try to do things like this and the more we connect, that helps us with that mental side. And, you know, the tools that you're giving us today, Leanna, was great. And I appreciate it. And I hope some people take them home.
Thank you so very much. It was a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. And it looks like we had just one last question come in. Somebody had mentioned, is the webinar recorded or will it be available? So we are Facebook Live right now. So as soon as we end today, it's actually live right now, so you can access the content. So feel free to visit the Ankeny Area Chamber Facebook page, and the video will be housed there. With that, thank you guys, and hopefully we'll see everybody tune in on Tuesday next week for our next webinar.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Hey, have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.